G'day everyone, Gareth here from Organic Growing Melbourne. I'm going to do a video today on my top 5 tips for growing avocado successfully. Alright, so this is my Hass avocado and I've counted approximately 100 avocado on this tree. These fruit will be ready in a couple of months. It's coming into flower again. As you can see, lots of flowers developing on the house. And this will flower, hopefully pollinate again. It will start developing more fruit. It will probably lose a lot of its leaves, sometimes all of them, which is perfectly normal. But if you want to grow avocado successfully, like this, I have 4 different varieties. I have the Hass, which is my eldest one here. I have a Pinkerton, a Bacon and a Fuerte. So there's 2 A types and 2 B types. So my first tip when growing avocado, if you're going to purchase one, purchase a grafted one from a nursery, unless you're going to graft yourself. But I would get one from the nursery. I would then leave it in a pot for 2 years, minimum 2 years, and let it develop a canopy. Now the reason for this is for especially if you're in a temperate climate. I'm in Melbourne, Australia, so we get some light frosts. Obviously the colder weather you get, so if you're more central Victoria, where you get a lot more frost for a lot longer during the night, you might want to leave it in the pot a little bit longer to develop even bigger. Plus, not only that, when it's in the pot, you can move it into positions through the year, because they will get sunburnt as well. In fact, when you get a young avocado, that's the colour it's going to be. And when it's this colour, that is when it's going to get damaged from your frosts and your heats. It's not until you start getting a brown bark over it like this, and obviously the trunk, as you can see, that's when it's at its strongest, and it's not going to be affected by the frost and heat. So yeah, in a pot you can move it to its, a location where it's going to benefit the plant. So once you've had that avocado in the pot for 2 years or 3 years, depending on where you are, when you plant your avocado, you're going to want it in an area that is well draining. I'll just go around the other side here. There's the Fuerte. So we're raised up here. That Fuerte is raised up a good probably over half a metre from the ground level here. And same with the Hass avocado, it's raised up and it's at the high end of my property as well. So everything, as you can see, I've watered today, so everything travels down that way. So I've got good drainage in here. In a temperate climate, if you're going to plant it in the winter when it's always wet, they hate wet feet and your avocado will die. So you need to have it in a well-drained position. You don't want any clay. The avocado has a taproot that can get to about 1 metre deep. If that taproot starts getting into the clay, you'll see the avocado start declining and it will start dying. I had a Bacon avocado many years ago die, and I'm guessing that will be the reason why, because it was in the ground the same time as the Hass. Alright, so drainage is extremely important. Tip number 3, do not prune your avocado. Do not prune your avocado. That is extremely important to bear fruit earlier. What you're doing when you prune your avocado tree, you are promoting your avocado tree to grow more branches. If you cut a branch and prune, you'll create more branches coming off that. You'll end up with a bushier avocado tree, and it's going to use all of its energy in growing branches rather than producing your fruit. Although it'll flower, and it might even start developing tiny little fruit, they'll all fall off because you've got this avocado trying to grow as well. So do not prune the avocado until you get the first crop like this. So this is going to flower again. There's probably too much light on there, but this is going to produce more fruit for me, all right? And when I've harvested all these, I can start taking the top off these, okay? And I'm hoping by then my other avocado tree would have started fruiting, so I'll always have avocado crop. But it is I can't stress how important it is not to prune your avocado. And I know that because I did it. When I first got it, I took the middle out of it, and then I pruned every major branch. Do not prune the avocado tree until it's produced its first crop. Okay, tip number 4, and I've mentioned this in many of my videos, and it's this stuff right here, mulch. Mulch. And you know what, it doesn't matter what form it's in, as long as it's not a dyed mulch, and as long as you're getting both leaf and bark. Okay, as you can see, I've actually got a lot of logs from my palm trees, which I've chucked under here as well. That was actually for to actually stop the chickens from digging up so much mulch and then exposing all the feeder roots to the avocado. But again, that is still acting as a mulch. And you can never use too much mulch. If you do, I recommend putting a pot around the trunk so the mulch doesn't fall back onto the trunk of your tree and then you get collar rot. And again, that's another death sentence for your avocado tree. So mulch, mulch and mulch. I've applied 2 loads of mulch to this in a year. So I'll mulch twice a year. And again, that's a good 600 high, and it's already broken down a lot. So that's tip number 4, is mulch. You cannot use too much mulch. And what you can do, if you do have excess mulch, I pile it up in between all my fruit trees. So it'll be like a metre high in between each tree. Just pile it in. All this is mulched in here. All this is mulched along with straw, chicken manure, because the chickens obviously come in here. So that one's getting fed continually as well. And then tip number 5. Avocados are quite a hungry tree, and they like mulch. And sorry, not mulch, fertilizer. Now I only use organic fertilizer, and I use sea salt, which is a seaweed fertilizer. It's organic. I use that to foliar feed, and then I also use potash in the growing season. So, you know, start of August, I will start using potash as well, because that will help in, well, it'll create more flowers, bigger fruit, tastier fruit, all that type. So potash and liquid fertilizer, and I used to use chicken pellets, but I am now using all the chicken poo that I get from my chickens now, and then the inside of the enclosure, which they continually till. Eventually that'll turn into a nice rich compost, and I'll use that around everything everything. All right, so that's my tip number 5, and I'll just go and show you my my bacon avocado, which is here. This is the first to flower and actually have flowers open, as you can see. The flowers are open. This is the bacon, and then I've got the Pinkerton here, which is also flowered nicely. Now these are too small to produce any fruit. As you can see, it's like 2 foot high, 2 foot wide, that one. That only went in the ground just recently. This one will go in the ground soon. But that's not going to hold fruit. The root system on that is not big enough to produce fruit on this tree, so I'm not expecting any fruit. But again, I kept it in the pot for 2 years, and I've got it raised up. As you can see, I've got it raised up here, and then that mulch is mounded up. We're about 1 metre high off the ground here, because again, this is the area that floods. So I've kept it in the pot. It's got a nice canopy, although it's a short tree. It always was anyway. It's got a nice canopy. I've mulched it. I feed it, and you'll have avocados as healthy as these and fruiting in 5 to 6 years in a climate like mine, which is a temperate climate here in Melbourne, Australia. So I think if you follow those tips, I think you'll have an extremely successful avocado tree. This house here is 10 years old. Once it starts finishing off flowering, we'll start to see a growth spurt. It'll get a lot higher. At the moment, we're probably, what, 1, 2, 3, it's probably about 4 metres, over 4 metres high now. And of course, that's going to get a bit high to be able to pick any fruit. So I won't be pruning it this year. It'll probably be the following year. I'm hoping to get fruit off the Fuerte and the bacon, hopefully in a couple of years. If not, I'll wait another year before I prune my Hass. But looking forward to this Hass. Like I said, they'll be ripe in about 2 months and ready to pick. And the good thing about it is you can leave them on the tree until you want them. You don't have to come and harvest like you would like a nectarine, where everything's ripe within 2 or 3 weeks of each other, and you've got to eat everything really quickly. They can just hang off the tree, just stay there until you need something. I hope this helps. Any questions, just leave a comment below, and don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and hit that little bell and you'll get a notification when I release any other videos. Alright, thanks for watching again. Take care everyone. Bye.